How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. It's Moses here, and today we are back with some NHL action for you all. Unlike the NBA, as if you missed our video yesterday, Zay and I did a little conference finals predictions and recap over there. So if you missed that, check that out. But unlike the NBA, doing pretty good in the NHL, 4 for 4 in the conference finals here. I tried to get this video out yesterday, but after an extremely long work day, I am recording this the day after game 1 between Florida and Carolina. So I have a little bit of a better view of the series after seeing Florida just dominate point blankly in game 1, even though the stats say otherwise. But at least I have my bracket here to back it up. I was already leaning Florida prior, so keep my slate clean. I saw Florida winning this series, especially now after game 1. I believe they will win this series unless there's a drastic shift, which could always happen. It's a long 7-game series in the NHL. It's a grind to win a series, especially against these top teams, the final 4, the best 4 in the NHL this season. Florida. Let's just do a little recap. They were down 2-0 to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Toronto was buzzing. City, finally, we're going to make it back to the conference finals. We're going to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. We're going to win it all. And then the familiar demons that Toronto Maple Leafs fans have experienced for years on years came back, bit them as Florida, after being down 2-0, won 3 straight, including a massive overtime victory in game 3, a solid shutout performance by Bobrovsky in game 4 to tie it up, and then just dominating the Leafs on home ice in game 5, winning 6-1. Toronto came back in game 6, the shutout of their own in Florida, again giving the fans, a little bit of life, a little bit of hope. But alas, similar to game 5, Florida comes into Toronto and with the same score dominates the Leafs 6-1, winning the series in 7 games. Moving on to face the Carolina Hurricanes, who also had some close games of their own in this series. It started off against the Capitals, Game 1 was an overtime victory for them. Game 2, the Capitals came back and won it, splitting the home ice there. The Hurricanes, gaining a little bit of an advantage as they went back to Carolina split. And they rode that energy massively. Shutout in game 3. Frederik Andersen, prior to last night's game, was looking like the best goaltender in the playoffs. A 1.74 goals against average. Just being the backbone that this Carolina Hurricanes team needed. And it propelled them to a 4-1 series victory over the Capitals. I saw that series being a lot more competitive. I thought it was going to go 7. But the Hurricanes were a little bit too much for Ovechkin and his Capitals. Frederik Andersen allowed 3 goals in the final 3 games, which is unbelievable. Credit to Carolina's defense as well. So coming into this series last night before the game, I was very interested to see how that game would go. And we got our answer. But jumping out west, the Edmonton Oilers, I'm going to start on the bottom there. Unbelievable series for them against the Golden Knights. Back-to-back shutouts to end the series by Stuart Skinner, who had been facing some playoff demons so far. He had been kind of struggling. It was looking like Pickard was the guy. He was going to be the number one for Edmonton, even though Skinner had been that guy all year long, and he had been last year when Edmonton made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. But after Pickard was dealing with some injuries, Skinner stepped up, Edmonton's D stepped up, and as I said in the last NHL video, you can't win every game in the shootout, especially in a shootout, in a 6-5, in a 5-4. You can't have that. You need to play solid defense. You need to keep the scoring down. You just can't. That is not a recipe for success this deep into the playoffs. And they got it figured out and got it done. Another big thing for the Oilers as well, it has not just been McDavid and Draisaitl. Their depth has finally come through for them. They have a multitude of guys playing great. One of them, Evan Bouchard, sitting at 12 points so far in the playoffs, having an unbelievable playoffs, leading defenseman in playoff points. And yes, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl both are top 3 in points, 17 for McDavid, 16 for Draisaitl, but they haven't, had these insane performances other than, when they willed their way back into that Kings game. I believe it was game 1 in which they lost. Edmonton has kind of just found their game, similar to this Dallas Stars team that got Miro Heiskanen back, which is huge for their D. Mikko Rantanen leading the NHL in playoff points at 19. What a player. And it's funny that Carolina, a team that traded for him when he originally left the Avalanche, is also in the conference finals. It sucks that they couldn't get it figured out, because if they had Rantanen, I might have been leaning with the Hurricanes, but I know Stankoven is an unbelievable player. He has played great these playoffs. He is not the player that Mikko Rantanen is. I know that it's an obvious statement, but just to reiterate what he has done for Dallas, it is unbelievable, to say the least. Jumping in to this matchup here. Florida. Taking it to the Hurricanes in game 1 in Carolina. 5-2 victory for them last night. Although the Hurricanes had more power play opportunities, they only cashed in on one of those chances. They went 1 for 4, as Florida went 2 for 3 on the power play. Carolina actually outshot the Panthers 33-20, but Bobrovsky was just in one of those modes, only allowing 2 goals, while Frederik Andersen kind of got blitzed for the first time these playoffs, allowing 5. That 1.74 average is definitely going to jump. I haven't been able to find what that average is, as the game just happened last night. I'm sure they're still getting all that figured out, but his average definitely took a hit there. Speaking of hits, pretty similar in this game 1, 50-47, favoring the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes also was the winner in the face-off circle at the dot, 60% to 40% for Carolina. All around, the stats would say that Carolina, held their own in this game, but a lot of mistakes for the Hurricanes, not a lot, a bounce or two here that was unlucky for them that fell in Florida's favor. All around, though, Florida just looking like they are on a mission to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals. Brad Marchand, it hurts my soul that he's not a Bruin, but he still got it. Dropping the mitts there at the end of the game with Gosh Despair. It is, it's a treat to see him still doing what he can do. And the Florida Panthers, on the backs of Carter Verhaeghe, Aaron Ekblad, Sam Bennett, AJ Greer, Eetu Luosterainen, who since the All-Star break, the Four Nations, I apologize, he has been a really great piece for this Florida Panthers team. Top 5 players remaining in playoff points at 13, leading his team in playoff points with 13. Brad Marchand second on that list with 12. Barkov, Reinhart, 11. 4 players after that at 10. This team is just so balanced, so good. They have so many ways they can beat you. After game 1, as I said, it's going to be really hard for Carolina to maintain the waters and bounce back in this series. I'm going to say that the Florida Panthers win this one in Frederick gets hot and gets back on his horse. I would say 6 games at this rate. I'm going to say this series is over in 5. Jumping out west. We've seen this story before last season in the Western Conference Finals. Edmonton knocked off Dallas in 6 games. Dallas was up 2-1 after, pictured on screen, Jason Robertson had a Game 3 hat trick in Edmonton, shocking the home crowd as Dallas cruised to a 5-3 victory in that one. And Edmonton's backs were against the wall. Thankfully, they came back with a 5-goal game of their own in Game 4, knotting the series up at 2, and they rode that energy into the Stanley Cup Finals, in which they almost pulled off an unbelievable bounce back after being down 3-1. They almost pulled it off, but Florida, at the end of the day, was too much for this team. Really excited for the game tonight. Game 1, I think, is going to be a big tell of how this series is going to go. It's in Dallas again to start the series, and we'll see what Edmonton can craft up to try and slow Mikko Rantanen, to try and keep Jason Robertson at bay. Thomas Harley has been unbelievable for Dallas, second in defensive points in the playoffs at 11. And he's got his D-man, his pair back in Miro Heiskanen, as I said, returning last series. I think all of the chips are falling in the right places at the right time for Dallas. I can see this series going 7. Absolutely. I think that is going to be my prediction. I think this one is going to go the distance. But I think, although he has been kind of struggling, nothing absurd, 2.47 for Oettinger is pretty damn good. I think he is going to be the difference maker in this series. The better goaltending for Dallas is going to lead them to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I'm going to stick with my prediction, although Florida is giving me a run for my money. Again, as I said last time, Dallas just needs a victory in something, in a sport. And I think this is their best shot. And I think they're going to get it done against the Florida Panthers. Thankfully, no, don't have to make any changes to my bracket. I'm staying put with what I got. And that's all I got for the video today, guys. Just a little quick recap for you all. Thank you for tuning in. We will have more content throughout the weeks to come with some finals coming up, NBA, NHL, couple weeks out. We're already off to an electric start in the NBA playoffs as well as the NHL playoffs. And that continues tonight, which is awesome. We got games like every other day now, which is pretty sweet. Just jumping between the conferences. But that's all I got. Before I sign off, song of the pod, you guys already know. And it is the Goo Goo Dolls today. I got Name. Such a beautiful instrumental, beautiful song. Sure, you all heard it. If you haven't, give it a listen. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for the support. Love you guys. And we'll see you next time. Later, everyone.